getting notifications on their phone, and hopefully they will see that we're going to be doing something really cool.
Hi, everybody. If you're there.
Is that a thing that happens? Like, you just get, like, notified on your phone?
Sometimes, if you have a
Yeah.
phone.
Okay, I don't know. I don't know technology stuff.
So in this episode, we're going to be talking about romance novels, right, guys?
Okay. Like, the most recent one you
I haven't read anything. I just
or,
thought
like, the
Jared's
most recent one you reread.
Jared's the reader, so
I mean, I've been known to be, you know, I used to get entertainment weeklies, and I would like to just investigate the books on their lists of releases of that week, or if it was the best sellers of the week or whatever. And I will say that there have been times where I've gone to the library and checked out a book that was definitely not something that was my cup of tea, and I learned very quickly that the majority of readers in the United States of America love reading very sultry and steamy, and if it involves some supernatural being of some kind, then they're even more into it.
Oh, what kind of bean?
Lima.
Oh, okay.
And
Jack and the Beanstalk.
Yeah.
Jack's beans.
Maybe they just like buying those kinds of books. Maybe they don't actually
They don't read them. They just like the spine to go on the shelf. I mean, you might be right.
Books.
There's this series. I'm not going to remember the name of it
50
now.
Shades of Grey.
But I haven't read any of
50
those.
Shades
So it's difference between like you know, like you're aware of like Twilight and 50 Shades and all that stuff. But when you pick up one that like is like there's not like some like buxom woman on the front with a shirtless man or whatever, you're like, oh, this is like, you read the back and it's like, oh, this is about vampires and spirits and things, and there's
those things.
So I'm like, yeah, I'll give this a try. And then, you know, chapter 4 rolls around and the demon leader is boning down on our heroine, and I'm just like, this is not my cup of tea. Thanks, America.
And your mom just logged on to that too. So speaking of which, you get more of this content if you subscribe and pay $10 a month.
Is that for real?
Could be real. If people start paying $10 a month.
For $10 a month, I'll have a camera with me at all times, and you can just see everything that I do.
I'll give you $10 a month and not have a camera with you all the times.
Make it 11.
11.
Okay, sold. Sorry, folks. Deals off the table.
11.50, so you never have a camera.
Yeah, exactly. I'm fine with that, I guess.
All right. We're gonna start this soon, as soon as I can like connect to a video.
So are we technically Facebook Live already?
We are Facebook Living right now.
But we're not recording like the official audio yet, right?
It's audio.
Right, but is this the audio that you post, or did you just post?
Oh, I'm gonna cut off the front.
Oh, I didn't know how you did it.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
My AV skills.
What does cut off the front mean?
I don't know.
Okay. Just nodding and...
Cut out everything before the intro.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But that is like the recording that you use is like the one from your phone?
Yep.
Okay.
I mean, it picks up pretty well. I paid a lot of money for a phone for a reason. That's not what I wanted at all. Hold on. Man, this internet is
Stanley's wife's maiden name. Anybody know?
Ooh.
No
I
clue.
just looked it up the other day, too.
Oh, really?
She passed away. She passed away shortly before Stan.
Like,
She
like a
did.
year and a half
I just think
ago?
it's a funny name. That's the only reason I asked.
Is it a Floranther?
No.
That's a funny name.
Is it a real name, though?
No, it's
Because
not.
this is a real name. Bukak.
That's a bunch of bukkake.
What you call a ghost
there,
Willie. A ghost
do not
Willie
remember
is
that.
is a bukak.
That's a good question.
Boo. People. I don't want to see that.
Thanks, Mom. I love you.
Her maiden name. What was her first name, though?
Joan.
Joan.
I thought you meant
That's where
Mom.
Jessica Jones. I'm just kidding. Jessica Jones. Wait, what's your mom's first name? Alright. Well, hopefully this works soon.
Who knows?
What are you waiting on?
Facebook to just...
It's working on mine.
I'm clicking stuff, but hold on. It's AT&T 6M.
Yeah.
Well, don't just say it out loud. Say the password out loud, too.
I can't connect to my internet.
Go with the address.
Hashtag.
What's the address here?
parenthesis.
911.
All right. I think it'll load eventually.
821.
All right, now that who else is? Oh, Jared Rocco's watching. Hi, Jared Rocco. All right. Well, I think it'll eventually. Maybe I'll just do this and that. Maybe your. Oh, there we go. Maybe your laptop's just grandfathered into the internet.
I think it is. Yeah, I think it's definitely. It's used to the running terribly slow. I actually think I deleted something, like an important hardware file the other day, and I
And then
instantly.
Facebook started to work again.
It was weird, and I don't get those weird ads that listen to me anymore. I think I deleted the right
They're
file.
all being hidden. So no, I just deleted out of Facebook. Son of a biscuit.
Cheese and crackers.
I know. All right, let's start this
Okay.
thing. After I do this thing, I'm just kidding. Oh, I think there we go. Hey, Bruce the Comic Dudes.
Nito Bandito.
All right, guys, you ready for a good show? Oh, two people are watching this. I told so many people at work.
It's
9:30
me and
get
my
on
mom.
Facebook.
You and your mom.
Oh, your mom even shared it on Facebook. Oh, I need to turn this audio down. Double game rolling here. All right, I'm gonna open up this cool thing to play some cool tunes.
Bruce with comic dudes. Bruce with comic dudes. Dude.
So wait, is the music playing?
You don't hear it? He's singing it.
Yeah, I'm gonna hear him singing it.
And a one, and a two, and a 1, 2, 3. Welcome to Brews with Comic Dudes.
We are Brews with Comic Dudes. Listen, dudes, drinking brews, talking comics.
Yeah, see, it all makes sense.
Dudes with brews talking about comics.
Welcome to episode 10 of Brews with Comic Dudes. I'm 10.
10.
That's like,
In like
What anniversary is that?
less-
Is that the Wood anniversary? Is that the 10 anniversary?
In comic book years, that would be 10 months.
for us, it's the beer anniversary.
Which
That's
is
every
probably
episode.
pretty close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know those anniversaries. But yes, it's been several months, unfortunately. I've been busy. I think everyone's been busy. Seth's been busy. Okay, Jared's not been busy. This guy's been busy. I've been busy. But yes, episode 10. Oh, man. We should have a clip show just to go back and reminisce on the Or not.
That'd be awesome.
That
actually.
would. Nah,
We
it
need
might
the
be.
episode first where we all get locked in a small room.
Yes. We are in a small room somewhat.
Right.
But anyways, all right, episode 10. Before we get rolling, make sure to like us.
Like personally.
Yeah.
Please.
Somebody out there.
On any platform, especially Facebook, like us, share us, comment on us, and subscribe to us.
Yes,
Because
comment.
I enjoy people watching this and asking questions as we go through. Gets us off topic, but it gives us other things that we might have brought up. And if you want to make funny jokes about things, absolutely do that, please.
Yes.
Also, no, that's all I had for that, actually. So, this week has been a sad week. This is probably the reason why I tried to push this to do it so far. Stanley, at the age of 95, let's pour out a beer for him, right? And I'm just kidding.
Oh,
We're gonna do
God.
that.
I don't
Jared,
have
where's
I don't
your
have a
beer,
beer.
dude?
I have to wake up very early tomorrow
Oh,
morning.
come
That's all right.
on.
But he died at the probably late age of 95.
It's a long
I
It's a long
don't know if it's actually been confirmed or not what it was.
That he's dead?
No.
There's 60-40.
Well, there's rumors that
actually
DC
has
does
passed.
have a Lazarus pit, so they might bring it back.
Oh my god.
But no, I think he had heart problems, so I'm assuming that that's what it was.
It's like that old
Unfortunately.
joke. I don't remember the comedian. But somebody's like, my grandmother died at the age of 98, and somebody goes, how'd she die?
Really?
She flipped her vet.
Yeah, that's
It was. I
The
forget who
chute
that
didn't
was.
open.
Yeah. But yes, it was a dark day for many people. It's still a dark week, I think. I see.
Yeah,
I keep on
I'm still
seeing
feeling
things on Facebook of tributes and.
How many days? Okay, what was the official day that he passed?
Was it the 12th?
Monday.
Monday, and so we are on Thursday, and I'm still
Yes.
regularly seeing.
Yeah, I'm
things.
almost. I got my Stanley tattoo finished today, so it's just his face on the back doing the Steve-O thing.
I really wish I had his autograph, and I might actually think about getting that.
Well, I do have an autograph. Well, a picture not that he drew, but it is autographed by him. So that's like super, super attached to me now.
Sentimental.
Yeah, sentimental. That's the right word. That's yeah.
What's the picture?
It is Dr. Octopus holding some damsel in distress, and there's Spider-Man, and it says the doctor is ready to kill you now. So it's pretty cool with the little logo at the bottom with the description or whatever.
So how did you come about this piece?
That was at Akron Comic-Con the first year, which is weird because I was like looking at stuff in the book. This guy's like, oh, and then he pulled out this picture signed by Stan Lee. I was like, take my money. And he took my money and I got it. So, like, I'm kind of interested to see, like, know how much signed products are by him now.
I think
But I have no plans of selling that at all.
I don't have a definitive answer to that, but I recall towards the ends of his life, it costs $100 just to have his signature.
Yeah.
So you could take
So
whatever.
that's $100 value then. The value just
Right.
having it then.
But that was before he died too.
Yeah.
So I mean, that value may increase,
Yeah.
in years to come also.
So, if you are new to comics or you're just watching this because it happened to pop up on your Facebook, you're like, oh, let's see what these guys are talking about. Stan Lee is the creator of... He's the major creator of
Most things Marvel.
most things Marvel. Unfortunately, Ditko passed away... Was that 3 months ago? 2 months ago?
I don't.
That was within the past year, which he was a big artist as well.
Okay.
And
let's-
Jack
let's-
Kirby was...
June
I'm familiar-
29th.
I'm
June
familiar with
29th.
Kirby, but I need some backstory on Ditko.
Ditko, he did Doctor Strange.
Ditko and like Kirby and Stanley were
They were
basically
all-
all like
The three
together.
And those two kind of
guys.
jump back and
Yeah.
forth between DC and Marvel.
Kirby's been gone a while
Ditko,
now.
Yeah.
Ditko had a lot to do. Ditko, I think, was the only one of those three. Well, I think no, Kirby did too. They eventually like went over to DC and
Yeah.
worked
And when you're
over
doing
there.
art, it's kind of easy to go back and forth. I think if you're doing stories, it's
Yeah,
better to just stick with one brand.
yeah.
But Stanley created Fantastic Four, the Incredible Hulk, Spider-Man, pretty much any Captain America. And the cool thing I think about Stanley is he was so against just pretty much like racism, and he was like more progressive than people were back then. That's why he created like the X-Men. That kind of had to do a thing with civil rights, if I remember correctly. He was more against that stuff before it was like cool to be against that stuff. And,
Yeah, down with civil rights.
yeah, like I would hope so. Like you're down with it, or you're like
Oh, yeah.
down,
That's what- yeah.
bury it underneath.
Yeah,
the ground.
I'm down with civil rights.
Okay. Then what was it? He pushed out even before the United States got into the World War II. He actually pushed out that issue of Captain America of him punching Hitler in the face against publishers, where it's just like screw it, we're just gonna throw it out there. And like I think a week or a month later, then USA joined World War II, which I think is really cool. That he's like, we're part of this, whether we're a part of it or not, and. That was like the biggest move, I think, and they're like, all right, you're onto something. This sold a bunch of issues, so let's boom this up. So, Stanley, best probably known for his work, also known very well for his cameos in just about every single Marvel movie, Marvel TV shows, which brings me to my favorite memory of, everybody has like their probably favorite cameo, I think. My favorite cameo of Stanley is probably from the Amazing Spider-Man cartoon series on Disney DX. Not the new one, but the previous one. In the show, he would play the janitor at, I just forgot the school that he went to, Midtown High. And the funny thing is, like, Coulson was also in there, and S.H.I.E.L.D. had like a secret base under the high school, because who's going to look underneath the high school for a secret base? So Stanley, he's always like mopping up the floor. He might have like a little line like every other episode whenever they're doing something in the high school or just having a class going between classes, between periods. And there's a whole entire episode where Stan Lee is the janitor, and he's kicking, I forget whose villain's name it is, but he's kicking ass, swirling a broom and a mop around, and it's just like pretty much a whole entire episode of Stan Lee being a hero as a janitor. And I thought it was the coolest thing ever, like the best cameo ever for Stan Lee.
Well, he was a janitor in the Amazing Spider-Man movie, wasn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Like
Which one?
Like the
Number-
lizard was destroying
No,
the
he
high
was
school.
a music teacher. He was in the band room.
I thought he was just in there cleaning.
I remember
Thought
he
he
had,
was cleaning,
he had headphones on. I know
He
that.
turned around and said, "Oh, I am so fired."
Maybe that's what.
And
Maybe
then,
it was
and then
that.
everyone laughed.
But yeah, but I thought it was the coolest thing though to just see Stan Lee whipping around a broom. Yeah, it was just a voice cameo, but still, it was like the greatest. It was like a half hour. It was just that. It was awesome. So, do you guys have any good memories of Stan Lee? Like one specific thing
I
that
never
kind of
met him.
stands out?
Did we skip like the introductions and what we're all drinking and all that
Oh,
part
we
of it?
did.
Stanley's more important, Steven.
Okay, well, talk about Stanley and
Yeah,
then
then
we'll
we'll.
introduce
Yeah.
ourselves.
Okay, so I am just kind of, the first one that comes to my mind was I really liked in Ragnarok when he is like basically the guy that's going to be cutting Thor's hair.
Yeah.
And Thor's like begging him not to, and I don't know that as far as cameos go, I think that most of his cameos, there was a subtlety to them.
They started out subtle,
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then as the movies went on, they became less subtle.
But I think that was one of my favorites because there was nothing subtle about it.
Mhm.
Like he was like
There.
this guy that's gonna be cutting Thor's
Yeah.
hair, and he's got like these crazy.
He like turned into
Cutting
like a main
tools.
part of the movie for
Yeah.
a second. Well, like Spider-Man 1 with Sam Raimi, he was just like another citizen in distress because it was during the Green Goblin attacking the side of the building, and you just see him like, oh, there's rubble coming down from the overhang or whatever. I gotta get out of here. That's pretty much it. Which you're like, okay, Stanley, cool. Then like, he actually has like a bigger part, like Ant-Man. We've all seen Ant-Man and the Wasp, right?
I have
Yes.
not seen it.
Yes.
Oh,
it's
then
very
we will
good.
not tell
You
you
should
that
see it.
one.
You
It
should
was
see
very good.
Okay.
Very, very good movie.
What about you?
Wait, yes, I did.
Yeah.
Man, I forgot
It's
that I
old-
saw
yeah,
Ant-Man
it's
and
been
the
out for a
Wasp.
while, yeah.
And he's like getting to his car, and they accidentally shrink it. It's like, man, I had some crazy days in the '60s, but I'm really paying for him right now. That was a
Right.
funny. That's probably the best cameo. I
Right.
think.
I like the one from the first Guardians of the Galaxy, not because of anything that he says, not because of any of his lines or anything, but just because of how he's portrayed and how like Rocket sees him, and Rocket's like commentary about
Oh,
him
yeah.
with the young girl and like, what are you doing?
Hitting
old
on the
man?"
young chick,
Yeah.
that's a third of his age.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty funny.
See, I thought you would have liked the one where he was talking to the Watchers on
Yeah.
the moon, because that was like
You know what?
basically responding
I
to all the
always-
people on the internet.
I like that
But-
one.
The biggest theory though was like Stanley was a Watcher.
Right.
So in a way, you're kind of like not surprised, but it's like a nod at that theory, which is really cool because that's kind of like him supplying the Watchers with information about what's going on. Because he's like, oh, that was the time I delivered the package or something like that, referencing
Fantastic Four.
no, Civil War.
Oh, he
Like,
did. Yeah,
Tony,
he's just the mailman.
Tony
of
Fart.
Fantastic
I think
Four.
that's what he said. Like, this package for Tony Fart or something like that.
Tony Stank.
Tony Stank, yeah, which was still. Damn,
Right.
that's a good one.
Right,
There's
right.
too many good ones.
Yeah, most of them are.
He even had a cameo in the Incredible Hulk TV series. He
Yeah, I
didn't know
was testifying, I think, in court.
I think
about
he was just a
something.
jury member.
Or jury, yeah, something like that.
Talk about. Are we talking about the Lou Ferrigno one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Just to clarify.
And I think he had a cameo in Shield.
I'm sure.
Agents of
He's
S.H.I.E.L.D..
He's been in everything.
My favorite one, for some reason, the first one I think of was, it was back when they were kind of, if you didn't know who Stan Lee was, you would miss it, was in The Incredible Hulk.
Which one?
Oh,
Edward
yeah.
Norton?
Edward,
Edward Norton, not the Ang Lee one.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Where
Like
his
2 second.
it was a 2-second thing. It was real quick. He took a sip of soda, said "wow" and collapsed.
yeah,
on
the
the
gamma
ground.
Oh, yeah.
radiation blood in there.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah,
and
yeah.
he had radiation poisoning. I really like that one a lot.
Yeah.
I like that movie a lot. It gets a lot of hate.
I
but
do
anyway,
too.
I like that. One cameo that I forgot about until you mentioned that cartoon one, Andrew, was, does anyone remember his cameo in the 90s Spider-Man cartoon?
No.
Remember when Spider-Man met all of the Spider-Men from different dimensions because of Madam Web?
I
And then
remember that.
At the end of
In
that,
the 90s? I don't remember that episode.
at the end of that whole series of episodes, Madam Web told Spider-Man he had to take the Spider-Man with no powers back to his world. And he found out that Spider-Man with no powers is an actor who plays Spider-Man, because Spider-Man's a fictional character. And Spider-Man, Peter Parker, met the creator of that character.
I need to find. I don't even remember that. I love
was
that
that
show.
Stan Lee?
It was.
What? Not Bob Kane.
If I remember correctly, he disappeared to a portal back to his realm and left Stan Lee abandoned on the top of a building.
Well, I mean,
It was
come
still
on.
nice, though.
At least
Spider-Man.
he hooked them up. So, and I really like all the stuff that's coming out about Stanley. Like, there's a town called Metropolis. It's like your typical, like, small little town that just got, like, little shops and, like, a small little plaza that's, like, 8 shops wide or whatever. And
But it's called Metropolis?
it's called Metropolis.
Okay.
And they have a Superman statue in the center of town, and they actually put a black band around Superman's arm, which I thought was really cool. Probably one of the coolest things that I read about it so far. About the whole, how people are taking it. Like DC came out and they're explaining their great loss for him. I think
That
all the
makes
original
sense.
5 Avengers put out like this ad for magazines saying how they appreciate him and how just because of Stan Lee, he's given millions of people jobs.
Oh my goodness.
Billions
I
of
can't
people
even guess.
entertainment value, and that's still going to continue until till the end of the world.
Actually, okay, so I before I lose track of some of this stuff, one of the really cool quotes that I remember reading, because one of the neat things about when an icon like him passes is so many people post so many different things about this person, the things that they've said. I actually saw a really neat one about the civil rights things that you were talking about, but just staying on topic. All right, what were you saying?
Oh no, you keep on going. You had something, you just lost it.
I did lose it. I lost it.
Want
but
me to
it
go
was
to-
good.
go to
What
something
were you saying,
else?
man? Just remind me. Give
Well,
me
no,
You were
no.
talking about how other companies and other people
How people have been
are
posting things on
responding.
Facebook.
How they're responding
How they're
publicly.
acting. Like how there's pictures and there's memes, like great heartwarming memes
Yes,
too.
yes.
I have a very important one to show.
I'm missing something about that I was just gonna say.
I'm gonna keep on going. What do you think?
Yeah, go ahead.
There's
It will come back.
There's a really cool picture I saw. I had 4 panels.
I remember
Has
this,
Stan Lee. I already told you this one. Has Stan Lee. And he starts holding a pen. Then his hand kind of like disintegrates.
Oh yeah.
And at the bottom it says, pretty much paraphrasing, like, you may forget the heroes this man created, but you will never forget the man who made these heroes, which is completely true because there's so many heroes that I'm going to forget their names, but when it comes down to the end of the day, like, the guy who created these heroes are the most important things about these heroes. And all those heroes reflect on how he felt about the world at the time, about relationships he dealt with how he handled situations, which is awesome. Because as far as I know, he's like one of the best role models you could look up to. This is a guy that never showed hatred towards anybody, and it comes out in his work too.
Yeah.
It's all about accepting people for who they are. He never created a hero that just kills people off. Well, Punisher, but no, he didn't even create Punisher. Like, his biggest reflection, I think, was Spider-Man, was showing
I love
you are
Spider-Man.
human
And I
and
think-
you
I
have
think that's
abilities and you have so much responsibility and you should still be a good person with no matter how much power you get. And Peter Parker is probably the most human character ever for heroes because he takes every death so personal that it's ridiculous how that guy keeps on moving on in a comic book, knowing that there's going to be casualties, but you keep on doing what you can to save anybody that you can.
I did remember what I was thinking. It had to do with the jobs, and the quote was something like, he said that when he was growing up, he was, seeing these people that were building bridges and seeing these people that were, had these other jobs that were deemed more important, where they, maybe were making more of a physical difference in the world, and he felt like, maybe like what he was doing wasn't as important, but then as he got older and started to realize some of the impact that he was making, he realized that, being an entertainer, it is an important job. It's a job that actually touches as many or more people than the guy that builds the bridge. I mean, and I always thought that was really important because, especially with him and, the amount of recognition that he got and the amount of fame that he got, people see that, but oftentimes people don't really say that an entertainer is as important as an architect. And it was just a neat quote. It was very
You
interesting.
need something to distract yourself from real life. And
Yeah. I mean,
although his topics were very real life associated, it would still take you out of what you're dealing with, and you give you a different aspect and how to view things a little bit different, which I think is great.
A different point of view.
Yes, and you get lost in it, and you don't even realize this is what's happening in real life. Like hatred towards the X-Men, exactly like the civil rights stuff, but you don't even see it because it puts a twist on it, and you're like, holy crap, this is exactly like it, but it's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I actually completely forgot about the first time that I can actually remember seeing Stan Lee on screen was actually in Mallrats.
Yes, I was going to bring that up,
And
that was a great scene.
Yeah, like that. Like I was into comics.
It was
like
Jason Lee,
when
right?
when I saw the movie, but I wasn't like into comics.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just an amusing take on like how like you have the juxtaposition of Jason Lee telling Stan Lee why he thinks these characters exist or the point of these characters or asking Stan Lee these absurd questions that are quite funny.
Yep.
And Stan Lee just going, no, like
the things
like
dong.
that, yeah, like this. That's not actually. I created this after a terrible breakup.
Yeah.
And I felt like the Hulk is me. I felt this internal anger, and like as funny as the scene may be, like it gives you this little spotlight into the life of Stan Lee and what kind of went into his thought process, and it's very genuine.
Yeah.
Even though it is quite
It
hilarious.
shows that all of his creations internally are all human, really. No
Yeah.
matter if they're intergalactic heroes or villains, everyone's human, everyone has their own problems, and everybody handles them a different way.
I have a quote that I saved on my phone, and I can have you read it because the
Alright.
phone's plugged in, or I can unplug it. That might be easiest way to do it. But I really, really liked this one, and I actually took a screen grab of it because of it. And this is I stole it from a buddy that stole it from a buddy, but it said that in many ways that Stan Lee is the Homer of our age, and they just said that Homer, like he wrote the Odyssey in the Greek
I was
times.
thinking of Homer
Yeah.
Simpson. I was like, wait
Yeah.
a minute.
No.
You like
No,
donuts?
he
I
just
do
said
like
that comic book characters have been compared to epics about the Greek gods, and with some justification. The characters are above us, but they are also deeply human, and they play out the tragedy and magnificence of the human experience in a way that has touched us since our civilization began. It would be hard for many of us to imagine a world without metaphors of Spider-Man, the X-Men, and countless other characters that he and Jack Kirby created. And again, that was stolen from a friend that I think the credit would go to a gentleman named Nicholas Finch. But that particular quote really struck me because we're not really capable of thinking about that in the present. But I really think that quote is pretty spot on.
Yep.
I mean, it's bold. It's very has a lot of implications to it. But I mean, how many like authors could a lot of people name? I mean, Stephen King.
Jared can bless
Yeah,
you.
I mean,
I
won't answer that question.
But like just in general.
But
like,
I'm
an
talking
everyday
about pop
person.
culture
Oh,
that
yeah.
people know, and you could talk about J.K. Rowling and a
Tolkien
few.
and-
But if I really had to step back and look at the situation and put those authors up on a board, and you throw Stan Lee's name in that,
He's like the Godfather in my opinion.
I mean, he's got to be the person who
I
has
think
reached
the
most.
idea of comparing Marvel Comics to Greek mythology is, I mean,
It's interesting, right?
It hits the nail on the head.
Yeah.
I mean, there have been multiple people who have made the exclamation that superheroes are myths of today. They're our modern myths, which is not far fetched, and like Hercules
Yes.
is a Greek myth. He shows up in
Yep.
Marvel comic book. He is a Marvel Comics hero.
And
who was-
Thor.
and
Two
Thor,
completely
yes.
different mythologies.
Yeah,
just
I mean,
thrown
you got
together.
Norse gods, and yeah,
I'm sure there's a few more that he
Oh yeah,
threw in there.
yeah. So I mean, like, yeah, it's Stan Lee. I think there was a long period of time where he might not have been as recognized as he should have been. So I think, if anything, it's amazing to see where he was at the time of his death. I think if anything is going to speak to this man's legacy, I think it's the fact that he continued to do what he was doing, even though at times like Marvel might not have been at its strongest. Like Stan Lee was always backing them, even if he wasn't like in his lead role as the writer or the editor or whatever he was doing at the time. He never turned his back on Marvel. He never turned his back on standing behind the characters he's created and the mythology behind them. And I think that's something to be said for like his capacity as a man and his ideals and his values as a man and a human being. And I think that the things he's created might be seen as childish and they might be seen as mundane and immature or whatever, but that's not the point of anything that he's ever done. And if that's how you see them, I think you just don't get it.
You're not looking
completely.
far enough.
Yeah.
If anything, I would say he makes complex ideas digestible.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, it's funny because you're not really capable of understanding how profound a person's work is until they pass. And I mean, I think something about that is tragic in itself, but I just can't say, like, you know, maybe 10 years ago, if you would have asked me who I thought was, you know, the most important author of all time, I might have said, I don't know, maybe something like Stephen King. I mean, just as a pop culture
Just throwing out a big
phenomenon,
name.
yeah. But then Stan Lee passes, and you're like, oh my gosh. I mean, Stephen King, he's good, but he didn't even really touch the legacy that Stan Lee created.
He doesn't have
all these.
the heart that Stan Lee brought out of himself and put it on paper,
And I mean,
panel by panel by panel.
if you had to ask anybody, Stan Lee was Marvel.
Well,
I mean,
yeah,
who is
without a
Marvel
doubt.
without Stan Lee? I think that's probably going to be.
It's a weird thing
the
knowing that
question
it's still
coming up.
continuing without him.
Well, he started working for Marvel back when they were still Timely Comics, right?
Yes,
They weren't
yeah.
Marvel when he started working for them,
Correct.
right?
And that was more like detective things, because that was a big thing back then, was like detectives and westerns.
Yeah,
and all that.
cowboys.
Yeah,
and-
because, I mean, westerns was like the biggest thing for the last 50 years, and now superheroes are like the new westerns, really, in my opinion.
And wasn't Stan Lee a nom de plume because he thought that comics were ridiculous originally?
I think something like that.
Yeah, it's not his real name.
Well, and you started writing comics and stuff in the
Wait,
military,
Stan
and
Lee's
people were
not
like
his real
laughing.
name?
Well,
about it, too.
his first name is Stanley,
Yeah,
but like his last name's not Lee.
his pen name though.
Yeah.
Actually,
Uh,
couple things before we move.
yeah,
from
I
the
got
topic.
one more.
Go
thing.
ahead, you go.
Oh no. I don't know if you guys saw it. I shared it on my Facebook page. I shared it on the Brews with Comic Dudes MySpace
Yeah,
page.
I did see.
Oh god, like Toy Story 3, probably the best Toy Story film, and there's a very emotional ending that Andy is giving away his toys. He's growing up. He's moving on from them, and they tie it in with Stan Lee passing away, and it has, which I think is kind of weird. Kevin Feige is the little girl that's receiving these toys. It's here's
I see it.
I can show you, Steve. It's like, I need someone to look after them. And in this, it has the box with all the toys, just like in Toy Story 3. And it's going frame by frame, and it has Marvel on top of it. It says, this is Black Widow, who is Jessie. It says, S.H.I.E.L.D.'s fiercest agent, da-da-da-da-da. Cracking fun of Hawkeye, says, this is her friend Hawkeye, the most essential Avenger. Which is funny. But in your head, if you've seen Toy Story 3, you know exactly where this is going.
Yeah.
This is Hulk, the angriest Avenger, which his head is on Rex. And then you got Mr. and Mrs. Potato Head saying, this is Cap and his buddy. Don't separate them because they are best buddies. Which is in the movie, don't separate them because they're like husband and wife, pretty much. Then here's beloved Iron Man, genius playboy, billionaire, philanthropist. There's Thor, god of thunder, son of Odin, rightful kin of Asgard, his brother adopted. Then here's Ant-Man, Doctor Strange, Star-Lord. Then it has Black Panther on Buzz Lightyear's face. Here's his Ant-Man is a vibranium suit. Wakanda forever. As in like a quote instead of like to infinity and beyond. Then at the end, this is what hit me the most, and I actually like legitimately like teared up pretty hard during this. Like, now promise me to always take care of them, and much more. Wait. It's like, Spidey, what are you doing in here? This is the part at the end of Toy Story 3 where Woody's at the bottom of the box. He's like, wow, this is Spider-Man, my favorite character. He's always wanted to be with the Avengers. Please take good care of him. And it just has Stanley in the car driving away, and the last picture has all the toys with the faces of all the Avengers saying, so long, partner. And I don't know, that hit me pretty hard. I think it's weird that he's handing him off to Feige, obviously. But that was probably the most emotional I felt watching any kind of movie. Because Toy Story 3, as all kids can relate to, though, like giving away your toys, it's hard. It sucks to do it. But you got to know when you're kind of growing up. And just putting Stanley in that position, handing his characters that he created off to somebody else, kind of just hit me with a tie into Toy Story 3. And whoever takes care of them, I hope they take good care of them. Because I know Stanley, he was not in charge of Marvel Comics. He had some say, I'm sure.
I bet he had more say than what anybody really knows.
Well,
that's my
we learned the
suspicion.
other day he could not see or hear that well at all.
Yeah, but I'm still sure that a lot of things had to cross his opinion.
'Cause
Or I want to say his desk, but
My biggest question, though, is, like, did he still keep up to date with, like, the comics that he wrote? Did he still care? I mean, I'm sure he cared about them, but, like, did he still read Spider-Man, like, every 2 weeks when it came out? Did he still read Captain America, Fantastic Four?
I don't think he did.
I like to think he kept up to date with some of them. Maybe Spider-Man, because I feel like that was his, like, pride and joy.
maybe. I mean, it's hard to say.
I'm sure we'll hear something.
I will bring it up since we are sort of on topic. I remember that I think it was me and you that were talking about his last words were
Not Excelsior, unfortunately.
no, not Excelsior.
Go
ahead.
What's his name? It was
Yes.
Take care of
my boy.
Take care of my boy.
Take care of my boy. But
He has a daughter. He does not have a son.
But I'm trying to remember who he said it to.
I don't.
It was
Tom
one of his
Holland.
caregivers or something.
But I think people think it's reference to
and
Spider-Man.
they do. They believe that the reference was to about.
Which, if it is, I think he stayed up to date with Spider-Man, if anything. But that's me.
And one last final interesting quote.
Ooh, yes.
It's probably
I got another one, but two. I got a really quick one. Yeah, go.
He just
I
said,
too much.
you know, I might misquote this, but it'll be close. They said, they asked Stan Lee, they said, do you think that, comic books will ever go out and things will go all to digital? And he said,
Oh,
did you see this?
yeah, one of my favorite ones too.
He said that a comic book is like a boob. He's like, sure, it looks great on the screen, but I'd like to have it. I'd much rather have it in my hand.
I read something else.
What a pervert.
More like. Well, he did have it. Was accused of some weird stuff towards the end with the hashtag #MeToo moment stuff.
Was he?
Yeah, but that was disproven. I think people were just trying to make money off of him. Another thing that I really liked, which I thought was weird though, when they were doing Spider-Man was Sam Raimi, the producers, which John Feige was still a producer back then, because I was watching Spider-Man 3, and I was like, oh, John Feige's still a producer for this? And that was like 11 to 12 years ago. But originally, Sony came up to him and was like, we're going to put Stan Lee in this movie as a cameo. He's like, no, we're not going to put him in this. He's like, he's a writer, he can't act. That's like saying we're going to do Macbeth with Shakespeare and put Shakespeare in there. Like, the writer cannot really act. Then Sam Raimi put him in there, and he's like, this is actually one of my favorite scenes now. Just because the creator of Spider-Man is actually in here. And I guess, I forget what the movie was called. It was late 80s. Sam Raimi did it. And I guess him and Stanley actually sat down and pretty much wrote out a pitch for a Thor movie. And they brought it to whichever studios they could get it to. And they're like, no, comic book movies don't do well. But this was like 1990, 1991, which you had Howard the Duck, which was
Terrible.
it made money, but it
Hindsight.
wasn't a comic book movie. Really, it wasn't a superhero movie. It was just
Not what they should have started.
it was a typical '80s awesome duck walking around with crazy weapons or whatever, facing off some crazy wizard or whoever that was. Which I
And
thought
that script was titled Adventures in Babysitting.
I like that movie.
Me too.
Oh, the Thor movie that they wrote. Oh,
the
yeah.
Thor movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought that was kind of because I think Thor would have been too much of a stretch, especially when you had Thor with like fur on him in the Incredible Hulk Lou
I
Ferrigno,
didn't like
which
that.
is the weird thing I thought.
But I love the new Thor movies, so it's weird. I mean,
oh yeah.
how far they've come.
Let me see your bottle opener. All right. Anybody else got any more few words?
Stanley
to say?
stuff. No, that
First-
covers my thing.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna ask an embarrassing
I have
question.
closing words on this.
I'm gonna ask an embarrassing question.
Yes.
Probably the question that I'm most embarrassed about, but I'm sure it'll help to educate the audience that is in my same position.
Oh boy.
I am
What
very
is the
interested.
background of Stan Lee's quote when he would often say Excelsior?
I think that was just something he made up.
Yeah, it was like it was how he ended,
I mean, I knew
Something.
he said it, but I
He-
didn't
it-
know. Was
yeah.
there any backstory?
I don't know the backstory to it, but it was like his closing something of like a special he did on for TV or I don't remember, and it just kind of stuck. It was just
kind
something
of his
that
like
people-
signature, his other signature is Stanley Excelsior.
Yeah,
But all I
You got
gotta
one?
say is, if it wasn't for Stanley, I never would have had the awesome childhood that I had growing up with comics. If it wasn't for Stanley, I would have watched the great movies and cartoons that came out in the 90s.
Comic books.
It's already open now.
Yeah, no,
I
that's
don't think
mine.
I would be the
That's
person I would be right now if it wasn't for Stanley creating Spider-Man and the X-Men and growing up watching these. If it wasn't for Marvel or him, I never would have gotten into comic books or anything.
Oh, for sure.
I don't think I would honestly never would have. I probably never would have gotten into DC if it wasn't for Stanley. I know that's a bit of a stretch. I don't know. Spider-Man '90s cartoon series was like the perfect thing for me, and I loved it. All I gotta do is thank him for my childhood.
here.
Here,
Here,
here.
here.
Thank
To
you.
the beer.
Thank you.
All right, what are we drinking?
Yes.
Half hour later. What are you drinking there, Steve?
Okay. Well, I stopped at Arche's again on the way through the valley.
You love that place.
It's fantastic. I'm drinking their pecan pie milk stout.
Sounds
Ooh,
awesome.
It
pecan.
is really
Pecan
good.
pie.
I thought next week is Thanksgiving, so
Can I try that?
yeah, absolutely.
You know
You're
what?
gonna love it.
Pass that around.
It's-
I mean, if you don't mind.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Go for it.
It smells really, really good.
I don't like pecan pie, but
Okay, well you're gonna
I
hate it because
love
it tastes
pecan pie.
exactly like
oh, I'm
pecan
gonna
pie.
love it. You
That's
go.
really good.
Yeah, it tastes just like pecan pie. It's
It's
crazy.
like
I
past
love
halfway
the
and gone.
Jagundis cans too.
Oh man, it smells like syrup.
It smells so good. I'm gonna bathe in this stuff.
All right, well I guess I'll drink something else then.
Yeah, there's not gonna be enough.
It is very
Oh, smells
stouty.
awesome.
Kinda-
We keep on moving things forward. What do you have in there, Seth?
I took a chance.
Where do you get that from? Tyler Riley asks.
I love that.
I'm typing it right
Okay.
Love it.
It's in the valley in Akron.
Oh yeah, it's in the valley.
Oh,
took-
as he says in the valley on there.
I took a chance and I got this Sam Adams White Christmas, and it is a excellent. I'm just saying, it's an excellent Christmas ale that is cheaper than your Great Lakes or Thirsty Dog. I'm not gonna lie. I would still say, as far as flavor goes, I prefer the
It's on the mild
Great
side,
Lakes
I
or the
think.
Thirsty Dog, but this is very good for like you run of the mill. You're at a gas station. Excellent Christmas ale for cheaper, and yeah, I like it. I've had plenty that I don't, and this actually stands up to the test.
I'm drinking Great Lakes Christmas ale.
I get it. It's
Enough
better.
said.
That's great.
All right.
I'm not drinking anything
Oh yeah.
because alcohol is the devil. Not really.
All right. So things that I've seen lately that I just
Go ahead.
let's try to keep this quick
Go ahead.
because we
Yep,
went.
yep,
I'll repeat it again. We went 15 minutes into episode 1 about Luke Cage season 2.
We're
Thank
not
you,
gonna do
Steve. Thank you very much, Steve.
And none of you have watched it yet.
Because I'm scarred from it.
All right. Well.
Anyways, really quick, new things that came out recently. Going back 2 months,
Gosh, it's been a while.
I know.
It's been a while.
Really quick rundown. Spider-Man, PlayStation 4, best game I've ever played. Great story.
Ooh.
Maybe one of my favorite cameos by Stan Lee, because he does have a cameo in there.
In the video game?
The video game, and it is
Oh,
awesome.
man.
Now you thought maybe I don't need a PlayStation 4. Now you do, so you can see the cool cameo by Stan Lee in there. Second of all, I watched Teen Titans Go to the Movies, based off of the Teen Titans show on Cartoon Network, and it was awesome.
Oh
No, it was. I know. I don't like the show, but it was a very good movie. I watched Suicide Squad, Hell to Pay. It was all right. I enjoyed it though. And 3 of us saw Venom. Did we like Venom?
I liked Venom for what it was. It had a lot.
Slow start, I think, but
The
payoff was
the
was fun.
first thing I told Steve about it after I saw
God.
it was that like they should have cut like, the first 15 minutes.
Oh
of it
yeah,
off.
the romance could have just been.
There's like
I didn't mind the romance.
It's not the best written. There's some
No.
scenes that aren't the best acted. There's
Tom
an
Hardy-
action scene
I like
that
Tom Hardy.
isn't
Tom
necessary.
Hardy was the best part of that movie. Which action scene?
It has problems, but if you go, I went into it not expecting anything.
I went down with low
I
expectations.
Yeah.
have some questions.
Yeah.
Keep going.
But no, that's like that was pretty much it. I went into it not expecting anything. If you go into it with that mindset, you'll be pleasantly surprised by
Yeah.
it.
I'm sure I'm going to like it. I'm a big Venom fan, but what I want to know, I've heard a lot of people saying that it would have been a great '90s movie. So the question
I didn't feel
is
that though.
is that like visually, does this not blow the '90s out of the water?
Oh
I
no,
know-
no! Visually, it was great.
Yeah.
Venom was sweet.
I think
Because I'm referencing like I think it was Amazing Spider-Man 3 with I don't even know.
Spider-Man 3.
Who's the kid from the '70s show that
Topher Grace.
Eric-
Topher Grace.
no,
Eric.
he's talking.
Is it
Yeah,
Eric?
yeah, Eric. Yeah, Topher Grace. Yeah,
But yeah.
And that Venom was very okay.
Mm.
But I know
Tried.
that the
I liked it.
screenshots that I saw.
I tried watching Spider-Man 3 the other night. No. Anyways,
it's not,
continue.
yeah. I mean, but the screenshots I saw of this Venom with Tom Hardy were
Oh yeah, the
Not-
special
Oh,
effects
dude,
are
it was-
amazing.
ridiculous.
I think in terms of like, I don't
There
know how
were
to put this
scenes
in
that
words.
you would watch, and it's visually it's fantastic. It's amazing.
Yep.
But there are scenes that you're watching, and you're just feeling this scene is awkward,
Yeah,
and you can feel that the scene is awkward, but it's not like you're supposed to feel awkward about it. It's just that there's something about the scene that's wrong.
Then there would be like a Venom joke
can
with
you
him, and
elaborate?
let's move on now.
Okay, I don't know if I don't
I
know
think-
how to elaborate.
I don't know if I'm on the same page as you
I'm
with
trying
this,
to
but
think
I
what scene
think
you're
I think
talking about.
tonally, it wasn't sure where it wanted to go.
It was a bit one-dimensional.
And
So
it-
I've heard several things. I heard it was originally going to get an R rating.
right.
And then
the R would have made it better.
And then
I think.
disagree.
they backpedaled and they tried
It
to
would have
make
added
it
more. I don't know.
so that it would get this rating that more people would be able to see it and it could possibly tie into the Spider-Man stuff. So
Yeah, they threw that away. Like, we made a shit ton of money off of this. Let's keep on going.
Oh,
with
they
it.
definitely. Something I noticed is they definitely put time and effort into not mentioning anything Spider-Man or Marvel
Well, that was
Universe
the point,
related.
though.
which
That
is
was part of
really
their-
annoying to me. I'm sorry.
it's very
I'm gonna,
aggravating.
I'm gonna
It was
go
weird not
on
having
record
this-
saying that I hate that.
Yeah.
I'm excited for the movie. I'm gonna watch it. I've not seen it.
But you know what? I wasn't bothered at all by not having the spider symbol on Venom. That didn't.
No, I
like,
wasn't
I didn't
bothered
even.
by that.
I wasn't didn't even notice. Like, I was like, I'm so far into this movie, like I could care less about that. But like,
Yeah.
it was weird not having Spider-Man as like the main origin of why Venom was Venom.
Mm-hmm.
How do you
But-
have Venom without discussing that?
I mean, they explain it.
Yeah,
they do,
movie.
yeah, they do a very good
It's
job.
just
Okay.
a symbiote that lands
Okay.
on Earth and takes
That's it?
over a human
So wait,
body.
are they rewriting the origin then?
I mean,
Kind of.
I mean, as
They
far as
keep
the
certain parts.
as Facebook, as far as the
there's
comic books version of how Venom comes
That's
to
what
Earth,
I'm
like
ta-
yeah,
that's
that's
the only version
that doesn't
I know.
that
you
doesn't
just
exist.
take out Spider-Man and you're like, well, it works.
So they do rewrite the origin, and that's a little annoying.
In
to
a
me.
way, yeah. It's they rewrite the origin host.
See,
That's the only difference.
It's
Spider-Man,
not going to
Peter
change
Parker's
my
not the
excitement or
host
change the fact that
originally.
I'm going to see it. It just bothers me that they went out of their way to cut that out.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean-
the thing that one example that pulled me out of the movie was near the beginning of the movie. They say, "Oh, you had to leave New York because you lost that job at the Globe." Well, they could have just said the Bugle and it would have been fine, but they didn't. They refused to say the Bugle.
Well, because they made special deal with Marvel to keep certain properties and
It
give
is
certain
Eddie Brock,
properties.
though.
Yeah, it is Eddie
Yeah.
Brock. Which apparently Sony owns like 165 Spider-Man characters.
What?
So I'm like,
Hmm.
what does that leave Marvel then? Not a lot, in my opinion.
But okay, so are we looking at Marvel eventually buying those characters then?
No, they're not gonna. Not for how much Venom made, unless all because there's supposed to be a Morbius movie coming up that's in production, played by Jared Leto.
Oh,
I know. There's a Black Cat and Silver Sable movie in production, which like taking some weird C characters and trying to like Venom's a A-list character villain in my book.
I don't even know Black Cat.
Black Cat's kind of like the Catwoman
Yeah.
of Marvel. Then Silver Sable is kind of like the same, more with the weapons though, or fighting techniques and all that. Then Morbius is a vampire, kind of like
I know.
Man-Bat.
I do know Morbius.
Which, now that I think about it, there's a lot of duplicates between both universes of
Actually,
DC and Marvel. But
just a little
All of them.
yeah,
Basically all of them.
on and off topic. I'm not sure if it's Morbius, but I think it is on the newest issue of Domino 8. It's a really cool cover, and I'm pretty sure it was Morbius. Was it not Morbius?
I have no idea.
I didn't even look. I know you got it. I never looked.
Domino
into it.
8. Look up the cover. It's a vampire character, and it was cover of the week, at least in key cover, and it was a cool cover.
But overall, we liked Venom, right?
Yeah.
Thumbs up.
I was entertained by it.
Yeah, it was entertaining, but like we said, going low with expectations.
Yeah,
and
I just
don't
kept
think it's
getting-
gonna be the best.
Oh, that's
thing.
definitely him. Yeah.
Morbius, that's
Yeah,
what I
that's
thought.
him,
I
yeah.
thought it was.
You have that?
Just kept getting pulled out of the movie because there were
Yeah,
scenes that
there-
were awkward.
Yeah.
I got that one.
You don't think so?
No, it is. I like that.
Oh.
That's a cool cover.
Yeah.
So, all right, this was an interesting little factoid about Stan Lee that I forgot to mention.
All right.
Actually, my buddy when we met at,
Yeah.
he brought this up. He said that the last, and again, this is I mean credibility. I'm not really sure, but he said that the last character that Stan Lee worked on was a character that his daughter was working with him on, and I'm gonna probably misquote it, but it was either Dirt Boy or Dirt Man.
Yeah, I don't know about.
And there's a
So
lot
weird.
there's a lot of mystery to it,
It's a dirty boy.
but it's either going to be a movie or a comic book or both, and they would not disclose what, because it's literally the last thing that Stan Lee ever worked on.
They probably
And
test
what-
that out as
if
a
they
comic
said what it
first.
was, yeah, I have a tendency to agree with that. Just sort of interesting factor
Yeah.
on my list of things to bring up.
So, back to Venom.
Uh-oh.
This is not. It's nothing. There's been I've been part of like this discussion online and like this post where people have been like trying to determine what are like the best pairings of movies. And as far as Venom goes, so like there are like stipulations, like it shouldn't be like a directly connected movie. So like you couldn't pair Venom with like a Spider-Man movie because they're
Oh,
connected.
agreed.
So like there's this movie called Life, came out in 2017, stars Ryan Reynolds and Jake Gyllenhaal, and if you watched Life and then watched Venom, you could use Life. It doesn't actually do this, but you could use Life as an explanation to like the background of the astronauts.
A prequel to Venom.
Yeah, who are gathering this
Which is
substance.
I
really
have to ask
cool.
a question.
Yeah.
I think I've seen this movie live.
Okay.
Is it the alien movie where they're in the spaceship and they get infected essentially?
Yeah,
Okay, I did see it.
Ryan Reynolds, Jake
Yeah,
Gyllenhaal.
yeah.
Which I enjoyed very much.
It was okay.
yeah.
It was okay.
I liked. Yeah,
Not enough Ryan Reynolds.
But yeah.
died
So
early.
if you
Don't
want,
ruin it.
so yeah, if you wanted a pairing of Venom, I would recommend the movie.
Oh
Life.
yeah, definitely.
Really?
That was a
Yeah.
big. That was a big theory when Life came out. Like, wait a minute, you're working on this Venom movie, and there's this little symbiote-looking thing going around the spaceship. Could this be a prequel? And I think Sony kind of like joked, like, ha ha ha, it could be. I think that went to people's heads too
There was
fast.
nobody from
No.
life that was in them.
I mean,
Well, no, it's not
you know,
directly connected. You just like
Yeah.
hypothetically, you could take this movie.
It's a fun
It's
little
just
like Easter
complicated because
egg.
Ryan
if you-
Reynolds is.
You're thinking too
Ryan
deep
Reynolds
into
Might
it.
be a little
Deadpool.
too literal.
He's 1,000 different comic book characters.
No, he's not.
Yeah.
He's
Green
Pikachu
Deadpool.
now. He's
That's
Pikachu.
it.
Which,
That is it.
Which, by the way, who saw Detective Pikachu trailer? And who is
I watched
excited
it.
for this movie?
No, I'm not at all.
I am.
I'm not excited by the fact
Not
that
this
Ryan
much.
Reynolds
No,
is
no.
Pikachu. I'm excited by like the universe that
Yes,
they've seemed to
I am
build.
very
No.
within
excited
the
for
trailer.
it. I'm. Oh,
Shit.
man. You're cut off.
I'm not. I've
you're
never
not a
been
Pikachu.
Pokemon
You're not
guy.
an anime or anything.
No, I know. I'm not
I am extremely excited for that movie.
The
I
Pokemon
have
look
no
cool in it.
idea
Yes.
what you're talking about.
I'll show you this.
Okay.
So, anyways, things that we've seen recently.
Pikachu, Detective Pikachu.
Pokemon.
It's a movie?
Yeah.
Yes,
And
and
Ryan
it,
Reynolds
it
does the
looks
voice of
really
Pikachu.
good. I mean, visually, it looks great.
Yeah,
Alright.
the Pokemon look cool in it. Like
Mr.
Psyduck looks really cool.
Mr. Mime. Oh god,
Yeah,
that
that
scene
scene's
looks
funny.
so
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah.
I'll see it when it comes to Netflix and or Amazon Prime.
Or Hulu. This is something the three of us have all watched. Titans on the DC Universe app. The
No,
live
I haven't.
action of Robin, Beast Boy, Starfire, and Raven. I've not watched the last episode. I think you two have because you said you've been watching it with Steve.
Yes.
I enjoy it more than I thought I would have. Only probably because of the cameos of certain characters, though. Which I hate to admit, because if it wasn't for Hawk and Dove, that episode would have been like, meh.
Yeah, I think that it.
Doom
I was
Patrol
confused
was a fun little
as to
side street to take.
what direction this series was going the first couple episodes,
Mm-hmm.
and now I think they're finally finding their direction, and
I
I
think
definitely
it's
think it's
too-
improved.
So you dependent on other characters that aren't with.
Well, yeah, I think after this next, because this next one, well, you haven't seen the
Yeah.
last one, but the next
So you
one's
know
going to
more
deal with a very specific thing that's occurring with Robin, and then I think after that gets figured out or whatever resolved, basically, then I think they're going to focus more on the plot of what's going on with Raven. I hope, like, if I was managing
I
this
know.
show, like that's the direction I would focus
Episode
in.
5 that just came out, right?
I don't know what.
Then there's 12 episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean,
First one was the first one. Then you had Hawk and Dove. Then you had the arcade with Beast Boy. Then Doom.
yeah, you shouldn't have to wait 5 episodes in a 12-episode season for
Get
them
the ball
to
rolling.
start a story really moving. I think
But it is a
I think
setup.
this is what they're doing. I think this entire thing is just a setup. There will not be a team of heroes until maybe the end of the last episode. That's my opinion
Yeah.
of where they're
So
going.
you think every episode will introduce a different character?
Yeah, I mean that's kind of seems what it's looking like. It looks like it's like that Batman and Friends cartoon that you used to watch.
Brave and the Bold?
Yeah, that's
Brave
what
and
it
the
was.
Bold, yeah.
It doesn't. I mean, it looks like it's just kind of it's just a way of introducing multiple characters, and it's just like a little
Yeah.
thing. And there is a story, and
Yeah.
I do find myself captivated by the story every single
More
episode.
B story though than A story, in my opinion.
I mean, I'm not even seeing a B story. I'm just seeing one story. It's kind of shallow.
Yeah, I mean,
But
it's kind of
it's-
like piece by piece, but
Yeah, but I do find myself captivated by the story every episode.
Yeah.
But more so than the story,
Well-
I enjoy watching it because I think it's not very well thought out.
Yeah.
yeah.
And I
Well,
make fun of it loudly while
keeps
Jared is
me
trying to watch.
asking for more. Like, I want more. I want to see where this is going, and that's what the story's supposed to do.
Right.
But not in a good quality way. Like, it's not a bad show at all. It's entertaining. for
They
sure.
honestly, I think they spent way too much money on getting song rights.
That's
Song-
That's where their budget is.
Song rights for songs that don't actually even fit the scene very well.
What was the weird? Oh my god! What song was it? It was like in episode 1, and they're like driving off into the sunset or
Yeah,
something.
they had a Nathaniel Rateliff song in the
Yeah.
Night Sweats that I was just like,
Wait,
What?
That was which song was
son
that?
of a bitch.
Yeah, I was like,
And then they
no one's
had,
drinking in this song.
and then they had, can't the band that sounds like Led Zeppelin.
Greta Van Fleet.
Yeah, they had a Greta Van
Yeah.
Fleet song in there that I was just like, this doesn't fit. I could think of 20 other songs.
Like, this song was
that fit
hot
this
6 months ago.
This seemed so much better
Yeah.
than, speaking of things that are very topical, the new Subway commercial where the kids...
What?
There's a new Subway commercial that's airing during college football games where there's kids that are doing the
bottle
water bottle
flip.
flip. And they're all very, very excited. And Subway really tried their hardest to get that commercial out there as soon as possible.
Let's raise the stakes commercial.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe I have seen this.
Nobody flips bottles anymore. Nobody.
Except for grandparents who are now watching those commercials.
I love Subway.
Have you ever been to a 10th grader, 9th grader, a 10-year-old, 9-year-old basketball game?
I mean, if you give a kid a water bottle, he's probably going to try to
I
flip
mean,
it.
he's gonna throw it at something.
Oh, yeah, I've seen this. Oh, new Chipotle cheat. Oh, no, we don't get paid for advertising Subway. Sorry, Subway.
Though I actually had a really funny joke. Oh, God. Talk about something else. Maybe I'll remember what my joke was.
Anything? Seth, what have you seen lately then?
I have
Really
been
quick.
really into the new Daredevil series. I'm a big fan. Season 3, I believe we're
So
on.
you're into season 3 so far?
Yep.
Okay.
And I'm also like, I guess I don't know if the word is consecutively, but I'm also following Iron Fist season 2,
Which they
and
canceled.
that's fantastic. Yeah, I know, but it's very good. I'm
Did they
disappointed.
cancel it, or did they just say they're not going to
No,
make
no, no,
another?
no, 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 no.
I think that's where it's at.
This
But-
is what I'm
but
thinking. This is what I'm thinking.
You can't have a Netflix series
thought
that
of
they're
my
gonna
joke.
just wipe out.
The last
Hold
time...
on.
the-
I'm pissed.
Joke.
The last time Subway tried to be this in touch with the youth, it
Oh, God.
ended
No,
up-
no, no, no.
Don't say it. Don't say that. That's not what we say on Bruiser County.
I thought of that the other day, and I just thought it was pure comedy gold.
Say it.
I mean, I think the moment.
Very
Yeah, you
good.
explained it. Yeah. Last time somebody was in touch with the youth.
Last time Subway was this in touch with the youth, it winded up with Jared in jail.
Very good.
That's computer stuff.
Way to go.
So this is my theory since they... God, I forgot about bringing this up. Okay. Netflix, yeah, they canceled,
Luke Cage
Luke
and
Cage.
Iron Fist.
Yep.
So in my opinion, they're like, all right, cool, we get enough views, maybe, but we're going to cut them off. What if they just do Heroes for Hire?
That's what I said to Steve.
I really think that's... But then I saw Daredevil season 3. Their viewers dropped like 50% from season 1 and 2.
Well, tell him what you told me about Iron
Yeah.
Fist and Luke Cage.
About I don't remember what did I say about
The
Iron-
new network.
Just basically the wording of them canceling it said that Netflix will no longer be hosting Iron Fist and Luke Cage,
Yeah.
and Disney, who owns the Marvel characters, just came out with a new streaming service.
But that's too
Oh, is it already
adult. Well, it's
it
coming.
just came out
I
like
think
last
it's end
week.
of
I thought.
2019.
I
Oh no, they started announcing specifics about it.
See, I thought it just came out, but so far it's just like
Oh, maybe they did,
little
but
kid cartoons or something like that.
oh, that might be what it is.
I could be wrong.
But that's too dark for Disney to put that out with kid cartoons.
I mean, they could change it.
Yeah, I mean,
They could.
They could
They
tweak
could.
it.
I mean, Heroes for Hire, that'd be a really fun show for kids to watch, I think.
I would much rather have. Well, I shouldn't say that because there are some actually really cool storylines with the individual Iron Fist character that they could do and be really cool.
Have you watched any of it?
Just the first season.
I did not. Okay. I felt this way about a lot of the Marvel series on Netflix. I was not super huge into their first seasons, and I love the second seasons. We're on second season of Iron Fist, and it's really good. It's still taking off, if I'm honest.
I mean, the Netflix shows usually take a while.
I'm about halfway through, and halfway through, it's getting pretty interesting. It's still not like flying, but it's pretty good. Daredevil season 3, it's flying by now. I mean,
I can't wait to
because
get into
you've
that
got
more.
you've got a lot of the character development,
I know Deadshot's
and
in there.
you know the people that you're working with, and you understand the characters that they're playing, and I really expect Daredevil to really go into full force and full gear
Fifth gear.
by the end of this season or by season 4. Because he's still kind of like, fighting whatever he is. He's still trying not to be Daredevil, and he's still wearing like...
Isn't it like a fight with God or something, too?
I don't know.
It seems to be
just
a
don't wanna-
superhero trope, though. Is
I
that
know.
you fight it?
He's
well,
trying
Am I the
to
fight
God
where
or
you
is he
are.
the guy?
He's trying not to be Daredevil, and he's trying not to use the costume, and he's still using
Yeah.
like a sweatsuit and like a
Yeah, sweatsuit.
blindfold
Oh,
essentially.
back to the bandana.
Right? Yeah, yeah. And it's working with what they're doing, but you can see where it's going, and they're bringing back key figures. So you got
Kingpin.
the reemergence of Kingpin and where he fits into the story. It's going places and it's doing well, and I really think that like from what I can see, I'm guessing that end of this season and all of next season will be Daredevil hitting what it should have always been. But it for me, Daredevil, I love that series, and they did a great job with it. It's just taken a long time for it to get to where, as a viewer, you wanted it to be.
No, season 2 is
You know
where I
what I mean?
wanted to be with Punisher and Electra.
I love that. No, you're right. I
Punisher
forgot.
livened
Season
up
2 Daredevil
gangs
was
in a
amazing.
room playing poker.
It was
Hell
amazing,
yeah.
but I'm a huge Punisher fan, so that's a little not fair.
What's his daughter's name?
Punisher?
What's the Punisher's daughter's name?
I don't know.
I'm a huge fan.
I am
That's what I thought.
of the Punisher, not his daughter.
Steve, go. Last thing you've watched or played or read. Go.
I've just
Up
been
the fiddle.
I've just been watching Titans with Jared. We also watched the first episode of Birds of Prey.
We watched the first 2.
It was awful.
I was gonna say.
It's so bad.
Do we need to go in detail about that? Because I
Like-
assumed it was that bad.
No,
We're
we
gonna have to
don't.
cut
But
short.
like,
I'm gonna have to
I don't even
Yeah,
understand
we're
how
gonna try
it
to wrap this up.
it got to like 13. I think it has 13 episodes.
Yeah.
I don't even know how it got to that many episodes.
shit.
It's so
There's
atrocious.
great shows that only get to 5 episodes.
Very exciting to watch how terrible it is.
Hang on. I hate to even ask the question. I have no clue what you're talking about.
Birds of Prey was a show that was on like the WB or UPN or something like
okay.
that.
During
Yeah,
Smallville era?
Yeah.
Is it a comic related show?
Yeah.
Yes. It's, well, you know the characters.
Well, I mean, it takes place in Gotham, right?
New Gotham.
New
Ooh,
Gotham.
like-
Gotham related? Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
Mexico.
like the main. I would say the main character is Barbara Gordon,
Yeah, Oracle. Well, she's Oracle in the show Batgirl.
and she's just like trying to basically form a team of super heroines to fight crime, and they're all angsty.
I don't like that.
It's not good.
Yeah, it's
I know you said
it's
that.
Huntress, Oracle, and Black Canary. Huntress is not Huntress.
I like
Black Canary is not Black Canary.
That's-
And
Okay.
the main villain, who they actually have not encountered yet as the main villain, is Harley Quinn.
oh.
And Alfred's in it.
That should
And-
be good.
and Alfred
that
is
should
in
be
it.
good,
So it's
though.
very
I mean, what you just
Smallville
described.
oriented. Like, he's Superman, but we're not going to call him Superman. He's just this guy with powers.
And Joker's in the intro, and he is voiced by Mark Hamill.
Batman is also.
So that's the only thing they got right with it. I
Well,
guess.
no, because it's not that Joker has lines. I think he laughs and
yeah.
I don't know.
But for people who don't know, there is a movie in production for Birds of Prey with with Harley Quinn, and which is weird because it's what Harley Quinn with all the rest of them against Black Mask played by McGregor.
Yeah, Ewan McGregor.
Yeah, Ewan McGregor.
Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Obi-Wan Kenobi. Yeah.
I mean, I know you and McGregor. I just don't know Black.
They casted, which really quick, is it? I feel like it's weird if you have a character named Black Canary and you cast a black person. Is that me? That feels like. Is that weird?
Wait, a black girl is playing Black Canary?
Yeah, is that weird?
Black Panther.
Well,
Black-
that was
Black
it's set
Lightning.
up in the comics like that. Black Canary was originally played by.
Well, they're just being diverse.
I know. I just think it's kind of weird. Like you're
Sometimes
catering.
it bothers me. Sometimes it doesn't. That doesn't bother
Like
me.
you're saying it would have been a better idea if they wanted to have a black actress, they should have made like Poison Ivy black or something like that. Isn't she
Maybe,
the other woman? in the
yeah.
set?
That's what
You're-
bothers
you're
me
not
more is
matching,
when it's such an iconic
skin
figure
color.
that people know. I mean, I've never even heard of. What did you say?
Black Canary?
No, I know Black Canary. Is that what you said?
Yeah, Black Canary.
And they're having a black character
Yeah.
play that? I don't know. I guess that doesn't really bother me.
Yeah, the girlfriend of Green
I
Arrow?
still think. Yeah, I was gonna say. I still think of what's her name in the Green Arrow show.
Oh, they don't even call her
Sarah.
Black. Don't they just call her?
It's not
Canary?
Sarah.
Oh no, not Sarah. It's
Well, Sarah was
Well, she
Black
was.
Canary.
Yeah,
but
they
she was
had-
the
they
second
had
one.
Canary.
and there's
yeah.
White Canary, and that's another hour conversation right there.
Yeah,
Well, yeah,
I don't watch
there's a
those.
Birds of Prey movie in production, anyways. So Seth, not Seth,
Jared.
yeah.
Why?
Anything you've seen recently that you would like to talk about, or review, or give comments about?
Uh,
How do we hit the big stuff, really?
Big stuff? No, nothing that we haven't already talked about. I think DC Comics are really cool right now. They just finished the
Yeah,
Witching Hour.
I love that
run,
series. I have
which
all
was
of it.
really cool.
All of it.
Are you guys
Um,
gonna start talking about comic books now?
Yes,
Yeah.
but we're gonna have to
And then
I gotta have to leave.
and then Drowned
drown
Earth
the earth. I
is,
know.
is
I
pretty
enjoyed
cool
that.
so
and
far.
you also have what's the Heroes in Crisis?
Heroes in Crisis,
That's a
yeah.
great
It's
series.
slow moving.
Yeah, I wish they don't. They need to release them more often. I
know,
feel
it's
like I'm
like-
gonna forget about it one week and just
Doomsday Clock. I'm still waiting on every 3 months.
yeah.
God, yeah. Was there a new Drowned this past
No,
Wednesday?
this past Wednesday, no.
Okay, because
Well,
issue
but
one.
hang on, no, because they're switching it up between Justice League, which I think was last Wednesday, not this Wednesday.
Right, you mean this like yesterday?
Well,
Yesterday.
Aquaman
If you're
has
talking
a
about yesterday,
tie-in.
no, not yesterday,
Oh yeah,
but a week ago,
Yeah.
Justice League.
that was
11.
Justice League. Yeah, there's
Yeah.
like a Justice League / Aquaman,
Aquaman,
which
yeah.
was the first one, which that was all right, but
No, because
Last
they
one
had,
was
they had the
freaking great.
Aquaman and they had the Justice League.
well, Aquaman was like a prelude.
You're probably right. I can't keep up.
I don't know.
with
There's a bunch of there's
It's
like
good
three
though. I'm
preludes.
interested.
Yes.
There are a couple like
I like the two different storylines going.
there's
on.
a couple things that like I feel like they kind of skimmed over that could have used a little more explanation, but I mean it's a comic book, so you can only
like the
fit so much in
villains.
there.
They could explain
Some
the
of that
villains.
stuff
Well, like
comes
there was
after the fact,
something.
though.
No, Wonder Woman. Like I don't know
She
if
came
I
out
just,
of nowhere with those guys.
but she had the key, and I was like, the last time I saw this key, Cheetah had it or Black Manta had. I don't remember
Yeah.
which one. Like how.
How
like,
did Wonder Woman get it?
Yeah, so like I was confused by that, but then
Well-
at the same time, I don't read Wonder Woman's comics. I
Well,
read
that's
them
not-
when they were
that's not
part
tie-in,
of
though, right?
Witching Hour, but like,
But the Witching Hour had some tie-ins from Justice League Dark.
well, right, but I'm talking about the key. From what I read in Wonder Woman, the key doesn't show up.
Yeah.
I don't get where this key came from, and like if it's going to be in another issue where I have to read a Wonder Woman book, they should have told me that in the issue.
So I actually, because I was a big fan of the whoever the artist was that was doing the variants for the Witching Hour. I have all of the series of those, and there was one specific tie-in that was kind of a one-off, and it was towards the end of the storyline, and it was specifically called Wonder Woman with a Justice League Dark, and it was an issue 1.
yeah, I read that. Yeah,
Okay, so you do have that.
I don't have it, but I read it.
Okay, but is that where they tie in the key?
No, it's not in there.
All right.
Yeah, no, that was my biggest issue with it, and it's just a tiny little thing or
Yeah.
whatever. But yeah, no, I'm enjoying it so far.
That was the key to get into the God's graveyard. Right?
Yeah. Which the last time I saw it, it was in possession of the Legion of Doom.
That
So
was
I thought it
with,
was really bizarre.
Was that when they killed?
Yeah, when Poseidon.
Poseidon,
Yeah,
Atlantis.
yeah. I was like, how
Yeah.
how all of a sudden did she have this thing? But it's whatever. And then as far as Marvel Comics goes, the only one. Well, I just got Uncanny X-Men. I haven't read it yet.
Same.
I've heard.
But I have. I've been reading Daredevil still, and the storyline they're in right now is called
610?
I got 610. I do not have 611, which came out
610 was the
yesterday.
first appearance of a character, but I didn't catch
Yeah,
it.
it is.
It's a villain. I know
It's
that.
a villain. He wears all white. He has bone weapons. I can't think of his name.
Crossbone. Just kidding.
Crossbow.
That's a real villain.
Not surprised.
But yeah, no, it's yeah. They were sold out of 611 yesterday, so I need to go somewhere else to get it.
JC
Yeah, JC was sold out, so I'll probably go to Rubber City or something.
is.
But yeah, I like it, and it's ending soon.
Anyone
So
read Avengers 700?
Hold on. Is Daredevil in San Diego?
no, he's in New York.
I swear I was reading Spider-Geddon. It had something to do with Spear Octopus because he's in San Francisco. That's what I meant, San Francisco. He's like, da 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 da, Daredevil's territory. I was like, Okay.
That's bizarre. No,
Okay.
it's,
Maybe I read something wrong or
yeah,
whatever.
no. He's been in New York for the stretch of the run that I've been reading. He's been
Okay.
in New York the whole time.
Anyways, what were you saying?
I don't know.
Okay.
We need to wrap
I'm
it
still
up
reading
and-
Spider-Man. Spider-Man's great.
I wanna catch up on Spider-Man, but
I mean, it's
I'm
only
way
issue
behind.
10 right now, so it's not too.
Cosmic
not
wrapped
too
up,
bad.
and you got. There's just so many different things I want to talk about, but
Yeah.
I still want to. I actually was wanting you to catch me up on. Did you get Venom?
I did get Venom. I did not read it yet, but I plan on reading it probably like tomorrow. I got Spider-Geddon, which is
Spider-Geddon's pretty interesting. It's not like
It's-
the best thing
the
ever,
first
but it's
issue. I was
interesting.
like, second one I was like, okay, here we go. But
Yeah.
this one, the new one's supposed to have like a kind of a Civil War kind of thing going on
Hmm.
between certain spiders of different universes, which I love just seeing new Spider-Man from different
Yeah,
universes.
yeah.
Yeah, Spider Slinger, who's like an old Western Spider-Man,
Well, I haven't seen
which I would
him yet.
love to read a book just on like an old Western Spider-Man. Can't really web sling, but you're like, oh, there's a 2-story building right there. Okay.
I'm on its roof now.
Oh, there we go. Oh. But yeah, yeah. There's a lot of good stuff. Were you reading Mr. Miracle?
I was not.
I heard that was one of the best DC
Really?
books going on.
I'm
for
a huge
while.
Mr. Miracle fan,
Yeah.
but I haven't read any of his new
Okay.
stuff. I've read a lot of like the Mr. Miracle from like the 90s and stuff.
Okay, because I heard that was like just like Vision from Marvel lately, like the last year or two. Like it was a really short running of maybe like 12 issues. Because I kind of, I mean, they both look identical, not identical, but very
They
similar.
have similar
in
color
appearances.
schemes, yeah.
And they're both what, robots?
Mr. Miracle's not a robot.
Okay, what is Mr. Miracle?
He's
He's a miracle.
technically he's an alien. He's because he's from
Oh,
Apocalypse.
okay. Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah. All right. So that ends it for us now, I guess.
Yeah.
So thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe on iTunes and SoundCloud.
Thanks.
And
Thank you, everybody.
Yes. Thank you, guys. You have a good evening.
Bye. Yeah.
Is it still playing?
No, not even remotely.
Oh, okay.
That was about a 2-hour show.
Oof. Well, a lot of it was in memorial.
I know. It was a good episode. I just
2 hours. We started like
9:30,
9:30.
right?
9:30.
Did we?
9:31. So that was
Did
an
we?
hour and 15 minutes roughly.
Just like longer.
I do have an Infinity Wars theory that I wanted to share, but I knew we were running out of
Oh
time.
no, we can talk right now. I mean, he's gotta go, but
briefly, but I'm
Okay.
curious.
Well, are we still live on the
On
Facebook?
that, yeah.
Okay.
You can tell them.
Live on the Facebook. Facebook only.
exclusive.
Exclusive. There we go. My brother John and I were discussing Infinity Wars. We had this theory. Thank you so much. If you guys remember the episode of Young Justice, where the
Well, this should be good.
Yeah.
Crossing universes.
yes. Just remember the episode of Young Justice where the sorcerers split reality in two.
Absolutely. Oh,
There
yeah.
was one
wait,
reality.
No, that was you and I. We talked about this.
Yes, but John added to it.
Oh.
There was one reality for adults, one reality for children. Similarly, Thanos didn't kill anyone.
No.
He
He's-
killed Gamora.
Oh.
Gamora is in the Soul Stone. Everyone else, he used the gauntlet to split reality in two. There are two realities.
No one's
Right,
dead.
right,
They're
right.
just
So-
separated.
Separated in half. So,
Oh, shit.
in Infinity Wars, this is the part that John added, which
Okay.
I was like, oh my god. Infinity
So he
Wars.
split reality in half.
He split reality in half. Infinity Wars Part 2, the movie will start with the exact scene that Infinity Wars Part 1 ended with, but the opposite characters will disappear. Wouldn't that, like, if like Peter Parker ran up to Tony Stark and was like, oh, I have a bad feeling, Mr. Stark, what do I do? And then
Tony
Stark
Yeah,
dissolves.
Well, why did he? Then what explains him laying down and dissolving?
It's an alternate reality.
I know they're seeing what they want to see.
So here's another
Or
part.
don't wanna see.
Here's another part that John added. Does everyone? Who saw Ant-Man and the Wasp?
We all have.
Okay. the I don't know if I should say this part with the Facebook people, but the ending.
Yes.
occurs when Ant-Man
Yes.
is in the
Quantum
quantum
realm.
realm.
Yes. Yeah.
The quantum realm is outside of
talked about
time
this. Yes.
space.
Yes. We talked about this today.
And there's,
Much like in Young Justice episode where Captain Marvel and Billy Batson could swap back and forth between realities,
Oh,
what
shit.
if Ant-Man can move back and forth between realities by going into the quantum realm?
Now, I also mentioned the other day, because I watched it again for like the third time, they're like, hey, if you see a time warp thing, avoid the time warp. So maybe there's
Welcome,
a time warp
Facebook.
involved
You
in
are
there
welcome.
too. Maybe that's how he goes back. Maybe Ant-Man saves him by going back in time through a time warp, because she's like, avoid the time warps, because you don't want to get stuck in that shit. She didn't say it like that.
Yeah,
True.
Michelle Pfeiffer.
Yeah, she said you don't want to get stuck in that shit. I remember saying that.
You don't want to get knee deep.
Ironically, she had the
I'm
same
outta
exact
here.
line in
Love you
Batman
guys.
Returns.
See ya.
See
All right,
ya.
thanks for watching us on Facebook, guys.